Hey guys, I'm Michaela and welcome to Book Envy. I've had a little bit of an absence that I would like to kind of explain. I uploaded my first BookTube video on February 1st. Since starting BookTube, I have had a lot going on. I was in the process of moving. My husband and I just became homeowners, which was pretty exciting. And I also started a new job in a completely different industry that I've actually not worked in before. I was given a really great opportunity and I finally am in a position where I can make something of myself. In the midst of all of that, I had wanted to do BookTube for a while, and because there was so much going on that was already new, I was just like, hey, why not? I admit that I have fallen behind with the filming schedule. In fact, I don't think it's even fair to say that I really have one. For the people that watch my videos or have subscribed, I'm sorry, I'm doing my best to not suck at life anymore. It's giving me a lot of anxiety. I'm going to try and be as consistent as I can with everything. It's just been really crazy. So moving forward now, the book I'm going to be doing a review on today is Fresh Complaint, which is a short story collection from Jeffrey Eugenides, published in October of 2017. This is a difficult video for me to make for a multitude of reasons. Number one, I am a huge fan of Jeffrey Eugenides. It is actually fair to call me Jeffrey Eugenides trash. I absolutely love everything this man has done. I even purchased and have misplaced in my move to my new house somewhere a copy of The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, where he just wrote the foreword. I bought it because the guy wrote the foreword to a book I already have. And this is a very sad video for me to make because I am such a huge fan. This book disappointed me on just about every level possible. And I mean, God bless America. I don't even know where to start with what has annoyed me the most. Fresh Complaint is a short story collection of 10 stories that were written anywhere from 1988 to 2017. They are not presented chronologically, but he does timestamp them at the end so you have an idea of when they were written. If there's a theme for Fresh Complaint, the story collection, it would be people who are in the middle of leading very unfulfilled lives who take a sharp, drastic U-turn, which I don't actually think is a horrible premise or a theme for a book. However, it became a problem because it featured characters I didn't care about or find interesting on any level. So the characters in the books reminded me a lot of the characters and storylines that you would see in some kind of indie movie with a famous actor or actress in them when they decide to try and diversify their career a little bit. Laura's in The Real Girl with Ryan Gosling, or Napoleon Dynamite, or Lost in Translation. Basically films that are so quirky that there really isn't even an algorithm for people to predict how an audience is going to feel. And please don't think that I have somehow missed the point that these characters are supposed to be undesirable and that yes, their circumstances are undesirable and the choices they make are undesirable. I do understand that. But another issue that I had with it is that he recycles characters from his novels. He has not written a lot of novels. Sure, he released Fresh Complaint 5 years after The Marriage Plot instead of his normal 10 to 15 year lapse. But the material he used, yeah, not so fresh. We're talking about an author who's only published 3 novels. So in the short story collection of 10 stories, 3 themes / characters are things that I've already seen. This would be endearing, if not a cool thank you to the devoted amongst us, if it wouldn't be the only thing we're gonna see from him for the next 29 years. Just considering how sparsely he publishes, it was kind of a letdown when you were expecting something new and seeing like what he was gonna come up with next. I mean, it must be nice to be a John Grisham fan or James Patterson where, you know, you have a new book every other Tuesday, but you know, for the Jeffrey Eugenides trash out there, it was such a letdown. Okay, this book is not very big. We're looking at a little under 300 pages, but the pages aren't very big. The writing is kind of like medium size. It's not like it's biblical writing, it's microscopically small. It's really not a very big book. It took me so much longer to read this one because I couldn't get through it. I was so bored. This is just disappointing from start to finish. I have little doubt that by the end of this year, when I make a worst of list for books that I've read, if this book is not number 1, let me tell you, it's gonna be a contender because there's little more disappointing, I think, as a reader than positively hating a book from an author you love. I mean, oh my God, it's the worst feeling. I would definitely say to check this book out at the library if you are curious about it. This is a book I would not recommend buying before reading. Oh my God, I even hate saying that, but it's the honest to God's truth. I can't honestly tell you that I want you to spend your money on this. If I had to pick a favorite, it was actually the first story. In my opinion, it was the best one written in the entire book. Maybe it's because he wrote it as a more seasoned author, since it was a writing from 2017. But the first story, which is called Complainers, that one I didn't mind actually. The bad thing about Complainers, aside from the irony, is that it actually had set up my expectations for the rest of the book, which, as we know, came to a crashing halt with the next chapter. Still, as I was reading Complainers, I had actually underlined some of his writing. There are a couple things that I just thought were nice observations and worded very well. So the first one was just a sentence. She never invited Della over to her parents' house either. It was better if they met on neutral ground where no one could remind them of their incongruity. It actually reminded me of a joke that I saw in the show 30 Rock one time. Alec Baldwin's character tells, I believe, Tina Fey's character, never go with a hippie to a second location because you never know what situation you're going to find yourself in. And then here's the second brief passage. Kathy isn't surprised that Della represses the terminology. Dementia isn't a nice word. It sounds violent, invasive, like having a demon scooping out pieces of your brain, which in fact is just what it is. I thought that was worded perfectly. Once again, this is part of what makes me so angry, is that there are moments like that where I think things are worded so beautifully. It's almost like a flash of the Jeffrey that I know and love, and then whatever the opposite of a crescendo is, where it just starts out great and just continues to get... I'm still a fan. Jeffrey, I still love you. But I have my fingers crossed for the next one, and I almost feel like there needs to be some kind of act of contrition, like you should release a novel in addition to like maybe a poetry collection. So needless to say, even though Jeffrey Eugenides is one of my favorite authors, Fresh Complaint, not a book that I'm going to be recommending anytime soon. I will see you guys next time and do my best to make sure that next time isn't so far away. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.